Hello, dear students, and welcome back to the 16th session of Communicative English. I am Dr. Archana Durgesh from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, BBD University. And after telling you in the 15th session how can you strategize your speaking, especially in public, I am going to share a few types of public speaking. Now, what I am going to take up in this session is monologues. Monologues are very important. They are just like soliloquies or asides, apostrophes. You have to understand, like suppose they are always done by one person, singular person, and they reflect the inner thought. If any one of you has ever read Hamlet by Shakespeare, you'll come across the fact that Hamlet is the play which has at least more than 70 soliloquies or asides or apostrophes, and they reveal the inner turmoil or whatever inner communication that is going on in my mind in that speech. Whatever is going on in my mind is revealed in that speech. That is a monologue. But you don't engage it with somebody else. You don't engage it. You just speak for yourself. Like if I say, "अरे कहाँ गया? बड़ा परेशान हो गई." So what is this? This is a monologue. I am not talking to you. I am talking to myself. But it is revealing my inner feeling that I am searching for something. I am very worried. मैं परेशान हो गई. Right? Because that something is hampering my mind. Getting? So we'll start the sharing, and these are the notes that you can use as your primary source or your secondary source. But see to it that they have been designed according to your syllabus. Okay? I'll start the share. After doing this speaking skills, we are about to begin with monologues. Yes. Now, before we begin with monologues, can you see on top the page number is written? Dr. Archana 2. This is how you have to number your presentation or your pack of cards, whatever, or even sheets of paper that you are using. Okay, these are numbered for your own convenience and for my convenience even. What if I start with some other page? Okay, so page numbering is very important as I told you in the last session. Now I am going to begin with monologue. What is a monologue? You can be asked to define it. So what is a monologue? A speech presented by a single character. If I am standing on the stage and I am speaking and I'm not addressing it to anybody else, then this is a monologue. It uses the first person. It can be comedy or dramatic. See, comedy. You can even, say something very humorous. You can say something very dramatic, very serious, or very emotional. It must reveal something like some inner thought, emotions, secrets, a story, or answer to a question. Sometimes you must have seen it in movies or in serials that people talk to themselves. They're sitting in a room or standing in a room and they're talking to themselves, and somebody overhears them and they come to know about the secret or some thought that is going on in their mind, or they or some certain emotion which they are not sharing actually with you, but then they are suffering. So you come to know that, or a story that you overhear, or you come to know, or even as an audience, you can come to know a secret. You can come to, get an answer for a question that was there in your mind. Monologue is answer to all that. Now, what are the essential steps to preparation and presentation. Monologues are always the most difficult audience to pull off successfully with. Monologue is an art. Dialogue is a bit easier because you're talking to somebody, one-on-one interaction is going on. It really is very easy comparatively. But monologue is very difficult because you have to express it in a very impeccable manner, in a very expressive way you have to put it, so that people can gather, people can come to know what a secret, a answer to their question, some scratch of knowledge which is very important for them. So, you have to pull it off very successfully. So, be prepared. You have to strategize this monologue, this art of giving a monologue. Now, if there is a problem, then there are solutions to every problem. If you want to create a monologue, then you have to do certain things. You have to follow certain strategies. And what are those strategies? Number one, select an entertaining one. Choose something very dramatic, something which is, very impressive, which grasp the attention of the audience. Don't go for something very cliched. What is cliched? Overused, old, बहुत बार हो चुका है. No, select something very novel. No one, and I mean it, no one in the industry wants to watch an actor working really hard to impress them with their acting, especially if the piece is boring or mediocre. There is no point in taking something very monotonous, very boring, very cliched, or something very mediocre. You have to choose your monologue with which people would love to watch you doing. You have to choose a very eye-catching one, a very grasping one, which engages the audience and puts them sit on the verge of anxiety or on the corner of their seat. They should come forward. There should be a lot of enthusiasm in the audience that you have chosen such a wonderful piece. They love watching you. They're loving it simply. You are entertaining them with your perfect monologue because you cannot choose something very mediocre and boring. So choose something which can really move people, very dramatic, hilarious. Hilarious means humorous. Or if it's a serious piece, then make sure that you add the emotional appeal to it. Second, find one that fits you like a glove, and so we believe you. It should not be very sloppy. It should not be very lethargic kind of a presentation or a monologue. It should be very dramatic. It should be full of energy. Know your type and range as far as being cast. Everybody knows what kind of part would fit them well. Something very dramatic, which can, my facial animation is very good. So whenever I used to participate in dramas, I always got very dramatic dialogue, a very full of expressive part, never ever like a side part. They always gave me a very dramatic kind of a thing, very natural, where I could act naturally. Some 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 kind of a role which could fit me like a glove. Something glamorous will not go with my persona. Something very subtle, something maybe very classy, or something which requires a lot of facial animation or tone, the play of paralanguage that always suited my persona was given to you. You have to know your type. Make sure that the part is age appropriate and physically accurate. Now, you cannot ask somebody aged 25 to play somebody 45 or somebody aged in 40s to look like 18 or 20. Monologue, drama, when you're talking about drama, it's really very difficult. You cannot look 20 years younger. You cannot ask somebody from a rustic background to speak in impeccable English, or somebody from a very rich English background to speak in a local dialect. The person won't be able to do it. There are many actors who have participated in Telugu and Tamil films. They have acted in it, in dramas and all. But then there is always a voiceover because they cannot bring the right kind of emotion in the language. I told you, language is culture bound. It should fit you like a glove. You cannot express yourself completely in French if you don't know it. You cannot add the right kind of emotional intelligence to it, the right kind of emotional intensity to it, unless and until you know the language, you know the meaning of the content that you are delivering. You will, you know, you will fall short of it. You won't be able to do justice to it. You cannot ask a plain Jane try to become a femme fatale. Femme fatale is beautiful woman, fatal woman with extraordinary charm, जिसे हम लोग कहते हैं अदाएं, क्रिया चरित्र. You cannot ask a tomboyish girl to look very feminine. It's impossible for her. She doesn't have that kind of body language. She won't feel comfortable in those clothes, in those accessories, in that tone. She won't be able to do justice to that. The monologue is a time to show who you are and not add layers of dialogue, character traits, a limp, or something outrageous to impress. You cannot. You cannot act somebody else. Yes, you are in acting, but still there is you. You are there. Your persona is there. Your personality is there. You cannot walk out of your body. You can't be somebody else entirely. Casting is a very important issue. If you even don't watch much movies, just see to it when star cast is coming. Who's the producer? Who's the director? And then casting is written. Casting is a very important thing. To an extent, you can say casting defines whether the film will be successful or not. The drama will be successful or not. Why? Because you have to fit that role. Unless and until you fit that role, you won't be able to do justice. You don't have to just impress people. You have to make them realize that you belong to it. If you are talking about a traditional historical role, then you have to have somebody with a very traditional look who can be Indianized. Somebody with foreign looks, chiseled features, very with not very Indian figure, with not very Indian color complexion, cannot be well suited for that role. Casting is really very important. Otherwise, the monologue will go limp. It will simply blow out of proportions. Avoid props unless it is too essential to the scene that it won't work without. Props are additional things that you put on the stage. Don't put them unless and until it's needed. If you are able to express with your dialogues, if you're able to make a relevant delivery, then please don't use props or something which can be used in hands of the cards or something. If you can express yourself, then avoid props. They're not very good. If they can't tell you are acting, then that's good acting. I've seen people, even I've experienced, then when there is an emotional scene, I really get moved. You get to verge of tears. So what is it? That's what it is good acting, that you have moved people. If you have made them laugh, if you have made them cry, if you have made them smile, if you have made them blush, If you have made them comfortable, if you have made them feel something on the ninth cloud, then that is acting. Acting is making people believe that it's reality. And monologue cannot be successful. It cannot be achieved. The level of excellence cannot be achieved if you are not good at acting. And acting is just not like I told you, it has to fit like a glove. You have to look natural. The next thing is choose one that is well suited for this scenario. Okay? Choose one that is serio comedic or not just comedic or dramatic. Show us some change in emotion, but keep us laughing. Humor is a very important element. It's an art. Nobody, unless and until one is a very chiseled actor, he cannot make you laugh. It will look like a complete disaster. You have laughed at Johnny Lever. You have laughed at people who have, done extreme comedy. Charlie Chaplin, Johnny Walker, if your generation knows this name. He never ever sipped alcohol. But Johnny Walker always, always was given the acting of a complete drunk. He always played a drunkard, always out of control. But then he never ever sipped one drop of alcohol throughout his life. That is what acting is all about. You have to show the emotion, but keep us laughing. Studio comedic monologues are my favorite choices, if you ask my opinion. Start with a piece that is funny, quirky, and get people to laugh, and then at the right moment, turn the screw. Yes. Hit them with something that's heartbreaking or touching. Something, very comic, very hilarious is going on. But when you play a giant, when you give a taunt, laughing on something, but that is actually something very serious and it should be given proper attention. They are already in your corner. You have won them over. Be compelling to get them involved, liking you, loving you, and hiring you. Because what's the point in working in one drama or one movie unless and until you become a hot cake for everybody who wants to hire you? You have to become a hot sell. And that can only be done when you are very, very compelling. When you have made them cry, when you made them smile, when you have made them laugh, roll over, they love you, and that is there, they will hire you. Monologue is a very important dramatic element. Next is work on the one that has arc or a storyline. Unless and until there is a storyline attached to it, you won't be able to make very uh, effective presentation. Avoid the Johnny one note monologues that show one emotion throughout. People hate it. People like novelty. They like nobody likes one thing. If I serve one thing on your platter, will you like it? Everybody likes a complete package. Nothing boring and tedious. There is nothing worse than watching someone rant and rave angrily at the audience for 4 minutes. What's the point in shouting on top of your lungs? People don't want that. People want the emotions. They want the high and low of the tone. It should be very dramatic. At one moment, you should be shouting on the top of your lungs. The next moment, it should be a complete, serene speech. The next moment, you should make people laugh. The other moment, add it on and make them serious. We all love to hear stories with twists and turns. Bring us along with you. You know, there is everybody loves stories with twists and turns. Nobody likes plain stories. That is life. The highs and lows, the ups and downs, the tears and smiles, the sorrow and the laughter, everything. There should be suspense, there should be a thrill, there should be romance, there should be propriority, there should be tears. But you have not moved somebody when you're acting. What's the point of that monologue? That you've not moved somebody to their to the edge of tears, or with your comic presentation make people laugh. Twists and turns are really very important. There is no point in giving or delivering something which doesn't have an edge to it. When you are writing, even when you are writing, there is a type of writing which is known as interruptive style of writing. An author uses this type of writing to bring sudden changes, to bring sudden effect. Those of you who are very verbose, that is good readers, will be those who are fond of reading novels or short stories. You'll always find this type of writing. Especially literary authors use it. There is a kind of twist and turn with words, written words. What right now I'm talking about is the oral delivery. I'm not talking about the written delivery. Everybody wants that twist and turns. Nobody wants that plain, simple delivery. You come on the stage, you start ranting and shouting on top of your lungs for 4 minutes. Nobody wants that. Out are the days of that one kind of delivery. People want variety. Keep it short. I read a very funny message day before yesterday, or yesterday, I don't remember. Some person, he was invited with his wife to a dinner. And the moment he was asked to stand and, raise a toast and say a few words, there were placards, on the table. His wife gave him sent a card through somebody. Like she was sitting on the other edge of the table and he was sitting on the other edge of the table. So she asked a few people to pass it on to him. So it was KISS was written there, KISS. So, the last person who handed him the card said, "Sir, your wife is sending a kiss for as a token of best of luck for your presentation, for your speech." He said, "No, she means to say, keep it short, stupid." So you have to keep it short and sweet. So, the more you will say in lesser words, the more impact you will leave on people. Every agent that I have met have made up their minds about an actor in less than 10 seconds. After 2 minutes, they change their mind. And it even goes the other way. That they change their mind and they make them. Stay within their attention span and you'll have more success. It is, though it's not appropriate, but still, I, remember this scene from this movie, Boom 3, where Amir Khan is hiring some dancer. He intends to hire a dancer, and Katrina Kaif, she comes, shabbily dressed up. She's looking like a shabby girl, typically tomboyish, and she wants to give her presentation. She wants to give an audition. So the people responsible for that audition say that you are not appropriate for it. Please leave. But then she requests the character, that Amir Khan, that Please give me a chance. And he says that if I take my eyes off, then you are rejected and you'll never come back. Okay. And she performs. And at the end, he says, I couldn't take my eyes off. So, you have to grab the attention. And more the attention you'll grab, more successful you will be. You cannot let people change their mind. You have to be on their mind. You have to imprison them with your persona, with your presence. You have to keep them engaged. You cannot make them move. Sometimes, rarely these days you come across a movie. I went to watch Jumanji, I think the second one. It was 3D. And when interval came, I said, interval has come. It was so engaging. You have to remain in the attention span. Okay? Next thing is find an element of surprise. If the audience is three steps ahead of you, they will get bored very fast. Shift gears suddenly and change your mood or voice. Find a key, find a way to keep us on the edge of our seats, wondering what will happen next. Everyone loves to be pleasantly surprised. Now, the element of surprise is really very important. If people are, on the same page in the drama, when somebody is watching a drama or a movie, if people can very well predict that what is going to happen, then there is no element of surprise. And sorry to say, it's really very boring and it's a complete sham. It's a complete disaster. You have to shift gears. It is here that you have to take in command. You have to shift the gears. You have to make them sit on the edge of their seats again, wondering what will happen next. Because somewhere or the other, we all like surprises. If we are proven wrong, that oh my God, I thought that he was the culprit, he was a murderer, but look, somebody else is there. That is an element of surprise, and everybody loves that. You have to, be well prepared. You have to gear yourself up. You have to be on the verge. You have to be well prepared. It should be cut above the edge. You cannot leave any loopholes. You have to make sure that nobody can guess what's going on in there. Because everybody loves surprises. Somewhere or the other, we like to be proven wrong. That is where we come to, experience the beauty of the drama or the movie. Like, suppose, yeah, I couldn't guess it. Imagine, I thought that somebody else was there responsible for all this mess, and it was completely turned, and somebody else came out to be the murderer or something. That is the element of surprise, and it is really very important for a monologue or a drama or a movie. Choose one that is not full of foul language or rude sexual images. Now, just a couple of minutes back, I told you that there should be propriority. Propriority means proper reason. Like, please don't use foul language or rude sexual images. It doesn't, look very appropriate. Propriority is appropriate. Everything should be appropriate. It should be well written. It should be well designed. You cannot you cannot take the risk of alienating yourself. Because if you take something which is not suiting to your persona, if you start swearing on the stage, it won't look good. The exception here is unless only if it is essential to the character, who, in spite of the language, is funny or quirky. There are certain situations, there are certain places I accept where you have to use this. But be careful. It should be a well written monologue. Like that are few and far between. And most actors aren't clever enough to pull them off. Enough actors. They're not very good at it. You cannot completely fit in the role of any character. You cannot be a dacoit in in morning shooting and a cop in the afternoon and a criminal in the evening and gay in the night. You cannot play all these elements unless and until you're a chiseled actor. If you're a mediocre actor, you won't be able to do that because you're not clever enough to pull that off. You might, carry the impressions of your last performance. Somewhere or the other, you might be, affected by them. You run the risk of alienating everyone within earshot and then looking like a mediocre actor on top of it. Choose good writing over something flashy to impress. Be graceful. Choose something very nice. Don't go for something very flashy. It doesn't, go well. Sometimes you may lose the interest of the audience. They won't appreciate of it, and you will turn out to be a mediocre. So you cannot risk that. And to overcome that, you have to see to it that you choose good writing. Before plunging into dramatics, see to it that you have a well written script, you have well written dialogues. Go through the script and see to it that whether the dialogues are suiting to your character, to your persona or not. Otherwise, if it's not, then make sure that you make the necessary changes. You should come into that character. You should feel that. Unless and until you feel what you are acting, you won't be able to do it. There has to be emotional intensity. You should be emotionally driven. You should intensify, and it can only be done by getting yourself involved in it. Next, what you can do is discover one that shows you are a winner. Yes. When you leave the room, when you leave the stage, what will they think of you? What was your lasting impression? Because your major point, your major aim, objective is to leave a long lasting impression. Will they cast you? Will they call you or shrug you off? Most importantly, don't choose to play a loser, someone who whines or is a victim. You are not, a victim. I'm not asking you to play the victimizer even, but you choose accordingly. If you are choosing to play a certain character, see to it that it fits you. Nobody wants to see you as a victim. If you are, say, if you feel like you are a bodybuilder and you are being hit by a very limpy fellow, will that look good? No, nobody wants to see you as a loser. Even the opponent, even the villain gives a tough fight. And just accept this fact that more villainous, more uh, brave the villain is, the winner, that is the hero, comes out more glorious. जितना विलन मजबूत होगा, कंपैरिजन में उसको मारने के बाद हीरो उतना बड़ा लगेगा. That is the beauty. You have to have, that typical festy character. Everyone loves to watch a festy character. They don't like to watch losers. Leave them thinking you are amazing, courageous, a pirate, a rebel, a survivor. Nobody wants to see you die on an island. Everybody wants to see you as a survivor for 15 years, and then when still you are alive and walking, and when a ship or a boat comes to pick you, you are there to face the world as a survivor, as a hero, as a pirate, or as a rebel. Nobody wants to see you as a plain character. Nobody remembers the plain character. How many people remember the minor characters from movies like Bahubali? People remember Bahubali. People remember Katappa, people remember the villain. Do you remember minor characters? No. You don't want to remember the losers. You want to remember the courageous, the winners, and show yourself a winner. You have to choose that way. You have to cast yourself that way. Even if you are a villain, give a tough fight. Even if you're playing the opponent, prove your point. Give yourself that stand that yes, you are not easily defeatable. Okay. The next point is avoid a recognizable one that a movie star did really well. Avoid one because if you choose something which is very celebrated, it won't suit you if you're not able to do justice to it. Some people are very good at mimicry, and some really fail miserably on that. But if you fail miserably on that, then it won't. The effect doesn't come out. You'll be compared to that star, and you won't win. Like examples include like Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting or Angela Jolie in Girl in Trouble. If you choose their characters, so, okay, leave out these Hollywood characters. Take somebody from Bollywood, which we are all familiar with, acquainted with. Take somebody from, say, a celebrated dialogue from Amitabh Bachchan. कितने मुल्क की पुलिस मुझे ढूंढ रही है. Will I be able to do justice to that? It is a celebrated dialogue. Everybody remembers 14 मुल्कों की पुलिस मुझे ढूंढ रही है. Dawn. It's celebrated dialogues. You cannot do justice to them because you will be compared to uh, Amitabh Bachchan ji immediately. Was if somebody says a celebrated dialogue and it becomes an instant hit overnight, and if you try and imitate that, you will be try and understand. You will be compared to that person. You'll be compared to that star. Find a likable character and do the monologue your way. Find somebody who can, whom you can gel on with, whose character you can well play. Don't choose somebody a mega star. Please don't choose Rajinikanth for yourself. Please don't choose Amitabh Bachchan. They are mega stars. They are the actors who have worked for 40, 50 years in movies. They are chiseled. Please don't choose them. Choose somebody like Varun Dhawan. Choose somebody like Ayushmann Khurrana. You'll be able to play their roles. You'll be able to play Kriti Sonan. You'll be able to play Deepika Padukone. But you won't be able to play Jaya Bachchan ji or Rekha ji. You won't be able to do that. If my meter, say my singing skill, is not up to the mark, will I sound very beautiful or sweet singing Lata ji's song? I won't. But if I choose something which can suit to my baritone, which can suit to my scale meter of singing, then that will be great. It same goes with the character even. Unless and until you're a chiseled singer, you're a trained singer, you won't be able to sing that song well. And in the same way, if you're a chiseled actor, a very जिसे मंशा हुआ कलाकार कहते हैं, आप नहीं होंगे, you won't be able to copy that dialogue. You won't be able to do justice to that dialogue. So unless and until, I mean monologue, you won't be able to do that. So try and choose something which suits to your persona. You have to take up something which fits you like a glove. I cannot wear my son's glove. It's this much small. I cannot wear my husband's glove. They'll be this much big. I have to choose something which fits me, which is of my size. In the same way, choose a character in which you can equate yourself. You can play that character. You can deliver that monologue. Okay, today we'll end here, and in the next session, that is the say 17th session, we'll be starting up with dialogues. Take good care of yourself, study hard, work on your skills, work on the effectiveness of communication. Communication is really very significant. What you say, how you say, to whom you say, where you say. It's really very important. Please do. Thank you. Take care, and we'll be meeting soon. Bye bye.